Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to bring you together some battles in the Ultra League remix. The first team is going to be Scrafty, Charm, Ninetales. I think you could use Powder Snow, just depends. Like Powder Snow gives you like better coverage against Nidoqueen, for example, while like Charm gives you like better coverage against like Air slash Mandibuzz, which is honestly like not Air slash, like Scrafty, for example, or even Machamp, which would be a little bit tougher in the lead. But let's go ahead and get started. This first team was recommended by one of my favorite Twitch viewers, which is Lunch Money. Great person. So as you expect, this is like largely a very even matchup. Just even if I lose CMP, which I almost certainly would. Looks like I lost a turn at the beginning, but I have like a rank 1 non-best buddy Scrafty, so like the chances of me losing CMP are like extremely high. So, and now we're desynced again. I think desync in my favor, but it doesn't really matter here, right? We're both going to be able to survive these power up punches, and if they do end up surviving it, or like end up shielding it, that like puts me in an okay position as well. So usually poison in the back, so determining which one to go to is going to be really important. And I actually go into the correct one here, and here comes Drifblim. Obviously, the Nidoqueen was met by my Hypno, which they obviously switched out, and they Shadow Ball my. This is pretty much a game over at this point in time. Power Snow obviously would be better here, but these charms still do a pretty significant amount of damage to this Drifblim. I'm gonna shield this. This is like almost for sure an Icy Wind, but I really don't want to get Icy Wind on my Hypno, so I am gonna throw the Weather Ball. And they did get a Hex through, but this is fine as well. So I'm just going to auto switch here, and they're going to concede. I am marking Fire Punch, Shadow Ball. Originally I was going to rock Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, but Lunch Money recommended Shadow Ball. I think Thunder Punch gives a little bit better coverage, but that's okay. This is actually a pretty okay matchup. Again, I lost a turn at the beginning, but that's quite alright. I'm going to try to not throw first. They had to throw first because they're generating energy way faster. So they do EQ me, which is fine. They actually get a mud shot back. I'm going to straight foul play. I'm going to definitely be able to live a Weather Ball. So I'm not too concerned there. It looks like they were trying to go for another EQ or expecting me to bait here, but just don't bait, right? So this is very good for me. And then here comes Air slash Mandibuzz. It's not the best time for me to throw, but I'm not honestly too concerned at this point in time. I have the alignment I need, and getting actually ended up working pretty okay for me because it allowed me to get off 2 power up punches. I do give up like 4 turns total there, but they're like half health, so I'm like in a pretty good spot here. Here comes Lapras, and I'm gonna try to avoid throwing first, even though honestly I probably I know they're gonna Skull Bash right at this point in time, right? So I tried not to throw first to try to get the extra confusion in because it's very difficult to time on their side. And then I like to throw 2 confusions here, then throw. And then I throw the Shadow Ball. Just because they know I have Fire Punch, so they're probably expecting me to Fire Punch again because I would get to 2 Fire Punches, but I figured the Thunder Punch was going to be worth it. I do get a Charm through. But at this point in time, this is pretty straightforward. I just shield whatever the Lapras throws because it's going to do way more. They decide to transfer the Charm, which is really nice play on their side. I don't think they're at 2 Surfs, so honestly doesn't really matter at this point in time. I'm just going to Charm them down. Again, this is where example where Charm is helpful against water types. Yeah, so they were 1 short. And they made the correct play by transferring it and then trying to like bait me to shield the Aerial Ace, but it really didn't matter. I would be able to live a Surf at that health range, so I really didn't need the shield either way. Okay, into Jellicent. So it's obviously a good matchup, especially since they're Hex. Okay, okay. I guess I did an extra counter instead of throwing there. They end up bubble beaming me, which is a little bit more annoying for me. That I didn't get the foul play off beforehand. They end up shielding the first one, which is totally fine. Let this go. I probably should have just thrown right away, but I was trying to time it a little bit better. Then I ended up getting desync CMP'd, which is actually like desync CMP is actually slightly in my favor because I end up getting a free turn out of that. And I throw another foul play. I feel pretty comfortable here though. I'm not too concerned, especially once this jelly's out of the way. Well, sometimes they have Ninetales and Scrafty in the back, so we will see. I think they actually end up shadow balling me here, and I end up not surviving. So it was a really nice play by them. But I'm just gonna look to charm down. They actually come into Ninetales. I do expect it to be a G-Fist, given how they played this. So I'm actually gonna let this go. I really don't need the Ninetales at this point in time. And I'm gonna look. I should live a Weather Ball. Yeah, I should be able to easily live this Weather Ball. And again, I expect it to be G-Fist. So I'm gonna switch right away, and it is a G-Fist. Their Jellicent's still alive with a little bit of energy. I expect this to be an EQ, but they ended up baiting me, so it ended up being a very nice bait on their side. I do get the Fire Punch off, and I actually believe they let this go, which actually worked out extremely in my favor. There's like no way this could be a Shadow Ball, so it ends up being Bubble Beam. A little bit risky play on my side, but there was really no other way for me to win. Again, I'm trying to get this extra confusion in, but I'm getting close to 100, and they kind of know that. So I decided to Fire Punch here. Still does a pretty nice chunk. I tried to catch there, but they threw in the middle of the confusion, which is what I expect them to do. I would be able to live in Earthquake at this health range, so honestly I'm not too concerned at this point in time. Even if they baited me there, I'd be able to live the EQ. And even though I'm debuffed, these confusions and Fire Punches are still really adding up against this Stunfisk, and I'm just gonna switch here and charm down. So just a nice play. If they really outplayed me in the lead, but I was able to like maintain composure when they safe switch. So obviously this is a very tough lead here. Switch out, and I'm actually met by Drapion, which is very horrible for me. I'm not sure if they undercharged this first crunch. Because even though my defense dropped, the second one did like so much more. So you'll see here, the second one like did like 50% more than the first one. So I'm pretty sure they undercharged the. I'm not sure. They undercharged the first one because they only looked like the first one only looked like it did like 25% or something like that. Okay, so obviously I'm going to look to counter down. I do expect them to have Sludge Bomb at this point in time. And I'm going to get hit by 2 Sludge Bombs. So I'm going to let this go. And then what my plan is to foul play this Pidgeot. And if I deny, which I did there, I'm going to do 1 counter then switch. Just so I'm like only 1 counter away from the foul play, if that ends up being the case. If I had Powder Snow here, this is I like the Stunfisk. It's very spicy, but honestly, if I had Powder Snow here, I'd be in a like extremely good position right now. Nice timing by the opponent, and they're gonna straight Mud Bomb me, which is honestly kind of annoying. And they do get the deny there, which it is what it is. I denied the Gust, so kind of fair for it to play out that way. This time I get it through. And I think I tried to switch here. Okay, I think do I switch out right away? No. I wait for them to throw. Okay, so Debatably, I could have shielded here, but I would have got farmed down. So I popped here, and then they actually got the gust through. Yeah, it was just an invisible gust. Yeah, you can see there. If I would have been able to deny, then though their Stunfisk was still alive, but probably not that much health. If I would have been able to deny, then I would have been in a good spot here. So Nidoqueen is extremely tough lead here. So I try to get this extra counter in, but I'm one turn desync behind, so this is going to be impossible for me to. And I think I farm up to basically when they get to another poison fang. I know I can live this. Decided to let this go. I didn't want to give them an extra poison jab. So, and I believe I actually make it to a power up punch. They actually end up shielding this, which I was really scared at that point in time that they shielded. And I pop here just for a little bit of chip damage. Now they're at 3. And they have the poison thing here. I get an extra confusion in. I think they're at 2 right now. So I believe they reach another one. Yeah, they do. Okay. Makes sense. And then, honestly, a little bit of a mistake by my opponent because they are rocking Double Dark. They have 2 answers to this Hypno. So they should have safe switched into Mandibuzz right away. And then, so at this point in time, since they're staying, I know that they have Scrafty in the back or like a Machamp in the back or something, right? Because there's no reason they should stay. I'm going to CMP tie on the second Aerial Ace, and I'm actually going to shield this Aerial Ace, even though I hate shielding Aerial Ace. I just want to be able to preserve health in case like it's something really bad for my Hypno. But I will let the next... Okay, actually, I do throw here just to preserve health. Maybe an error on my side, to be honest, because it ends up being Scrafty, so it ends up being totally fine. This is just a pop. So if they would have switched into Mandibuzz, I probably would have charmed them all the way down and no shielded, and then Weather Ball the double Weather Ball the Nidoqueen. So maybe I still would have like a pretty good amount of health, but who knows there? Maybe they should have banked. So this next team is suggested by Yasser, which is the Trevenant Blastoise team. Basically 2 answers to 2 flyers. I do have Ice Beam initially on my Blastoise to try to catch there. Maybe I should have faked the Skull Bash on my Blastoise. I did have Ice Beam initially, but honestly, I didn't really find Ice Beam that useful. So I TM'd to Skull Bash on the last one, which I then needed Ice Beam for. So they do EQ me, which is fine. I tried to catch the Weather Ball against the Ninetales, but then they were being too clever there. So let this go. They do EQ. And I'm just going to take this thing out because EQ wouldn't KO, but would put me pretty low. So I decided to switch out right away, hoping to catch. And they have their own GFIS. We're desynced here. So I just go straight for it. Yeah, like they end up shielding. I have to like make a call here, even though I'm up a shield. Because if they bait me, then I'm done for. If they land the EQ, I'm kind of done for as well. I bait here just to prevent them from farming me down. So, and then I commit to the EQ. Okay, they end up throwing here, which is fine. If they would have farmed me down, then it definitely would have been more problematic. And I'm looking okay here. They do have a move on Ninetales. So this is definitely a Rock Slide. I had to shield this. And they're trying to CMP tie, and they make a very nice catch. But honestly, in my opinion, this is a mistake because they do have a move on Ninetales. So, and then for sure, a Rock Slide doesn't KO me. An EQ would actually KO me. So I actually take the Rock Slide, and then look. They have to look to try to mud shot me down. This Shadow Ball actually just barely doesn't KO, and and I lived one more mud shot. Extremely close game there. I had to make some tough calls there. The opponent played really well in that matchup, not throwing the weather ball onto my Trevenant when they did. So we're desynced here. I'm not sure in whose favor. Man, they always seed bomb here. I'm gonna shield, and then I was actually very fortunate here that that they actually no shielded. So here I make a mistake, right? So I know it's something weak to Trevenant in the back, and if it's something weak to Trevenant, it's likely good against Stunfisk. So what I should have did, I should have maybe baited there. Let this go. I could have shielded here, to be honest. I go to Blastoise, but honestly, I should have went into Stunfisk. They end up Mega Horning my Blastoise, and they make a very nice catch here onto their Blastoise, which is obviously extremely problematic for me. So I throw the Hydro Cannon, and then I switch at this point in time. So they're at a Hydro Cannon. I'm going to try to farm up, try to get an extra Mud Shot in. I do get an extra Mud Shot in, so they're double Hydro Cannon. I have to take one anyways, right? They have two, right? So I throw the Rock Slide. And then I'm trying to build up to double Rock Slide, because it's all I need. Or close to all we need. The Blastoise would live with Rock Slide, but I maybe could Water Gun down. They actually sack Escavalier, which is fine, that I threw right away here so they can get a counter through. And then I should make it to the move. And then they make a nice play here. I switch, and they instantly throw the Hydro Cannon. I was like, oh my gosh. I cannot believe it, because I would have been able to Water Gun them down. But then I ended up surviving and getting the Mud Shot through, so it worked out fine, just for the dramatics of that game. So very nice play by my opponent in a really, really close game. So I really like this team. Obviously struggles a bit. You'll see. There was one team that was really problematic for me. I think it's this one here. Is this one? Can't remember. So Scrafty, obviously very tough for this team. I try to get this extra Shadow Claw in. They almost never bait. This is not like a terrible matchup, because I do double resist the counters. They actually end up getting a counter through, which is not great for me. And I think they're one over at this point in time, right? And they make a very nice play here. I double up on the Seed Bomb, and then I'm looking to unload both Seed Bombs, and they catch on to Nidoqueen. I go straight to G-Fist here, which is debatable. So I do expect them to go straight Earth Power, so I end up shielding, and then I build up to basically 9/9 energy. And then I'm actually looking to undercharge this EQ, so I can farm it down further. They actually end up shielding. I make a dumb play here. Honestly, I knew that the CMP was going to come here, so really not so smart of a play from me. I should have undercharged here, but that's quite all right. They end up popping right away, which is fine. And I switch to Blastoise, and I'm looking to Water Gun down. This should just be a pop. Definitely not enough energy for a foul play. And then here comes Skarmory, and this is where the tankiness of Blastoise really comes through. And this is where Skarmory has a pretty tough time here against Blastoise. And I'm in a pretty good spot at this point in time. This definitely won't KO, and I don't want them to farm me down, so I do force them to throw, and then at this point in time I can just Shadow Claw everything down. They're pretty low. Debatable if I should throw the Rock Slide or the Mud Shot would do more damage. They probably do it, but the same. They probably both do 1 damage. And then I Shadow Claw down. And then their Scrafty's dry. So even if they could counter me down, I'd be able to water them down. So able to take the win here. I believe this is I think this is the second last game. So Needle Queen is quite weird to deal with. So again, I don't get a move through. That's fine. They actually, I believe they got a move through there. I actually believe they no shield this. And yeah, they definitely got to move through because I'm only at 9 Shadow Claws, which kind of sucks here because that means I don't get the move through. I come here. They switch out into Jellicent. This is obviously not very good for me. It is a bubble Jellicent, which is definitely worse. I let this go. I'm hoping that they don't have Bubble Beam. And then I shield this. It doesn't really matter. It kind of sucks if this is a Bubble Beam. It ends up being a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to throw... this doesn't KO regardless, so I'm going to switch here and Water Gun down before they get into another move. And they come into Needle Queen, which I know this is for sure going to be a Poison Fang. This is where not having Skull Bash ended up really hurting me. The opponent makes a really nice play. This Alomola is actually very spicy here. I throw the Skull Bash here. I'm also being harassed by my dogs at this point in time, right? So I CMP tie. I believe it's like 8 waterfalls for the first Psychic, and then 7 for the second one. So I think that was 5, right? So I throw here. And then I really try to catch the Psychic. And they don't throw it. If they would have thrown the Psychic, then I'd probably get a Rock Slide off. But I need like 2 Hydro Cannon. It doesn't really matter. This thing's too tanky. I throw the Hydro Cannon. Nice play by my opponent. Really nice Pokemon as well. Super tanky. And honestly, then they still have the Neo Queen, right? So with like 10% health left, right? So then this next game, I TM to Skull Bash, and this is actually a really nice play by my opponent. So this is a very talented trainer. Someone I think I featured before on my channel. I knew they were gonna try to catch like there's no reason for them to stay otherwise. So I decided to go over, and as long as my defense doesn't drop the first one, I should be able to survive like 3 crunches pretty easily. And I know they're counting as well, right? So I let this go. They will beat me to the next one, right? Because it's 15 for me to get to 2 earthquakes, and it's 15 for them to get 3 crunches. And obviously, I switched it a little bit slow to make sure I didn't throw the Shadow Ball into it. And they make a very nice play here. I went over to prevent them from catching, but they make a very nice play. I do EQ, and now I'm gonna just farm them all the way down. They throw what I presume is a Rock Slide, right? Because too early for them to throw the Psycho Boost. You get a Shadow Claw through, which actually ends up being really critical for me because they Psycho Boost here. And because I got that one Shadow Claw through, they couldn't get another one. And they actually have a Mandibuzz in the back. And this is where like Ice Beam definitely would have been helpful. So I throw the Shadow Ball. And I think I throw a second Shadow Ball. I tried to deny there, which is honestly a stupid move on my part. And then I switch to G-Fist just to force them to dump energy. I wasn't going to shield G-Fist anyways because I'd likely get snarled down afterwards. I could have shielded and then got the Rock Slide, and because they have Dark Pulse, I would have got 2 off. but I feel pretty comfortable at this point in time. I believe they actually went 1 over. So I think they're 3 away from the next one. So I CMP tie here. I actually expected this to be an aerial ace because it seemed like the most obvious time to throw an aerial ace, but and I throw the Hydro Cannon, which doesn't click with the Mandibuzz because Mandibuzz is a beast, and then they come into Drapion. All you have to do is not shield the first one, and I'm in a pretty good spot. They do have a little bit of residual energy from that GFS matchup. I can't. Like, they were like 2 or 3 over. The defense does fall, and I'm going to shield this. And then I should be able to water gun down them, and then I should be able to Hydro Cannon. Even if they have a move here, I'd be able to Shadow Claw down their Mandibuzz. So really, I know these two teams are full of XLs, but I had a lot of fun playing these teams. Obviously some meta cores here, but they were a lot of fun. So anyways, I'm gonna leave there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.